today I'm in search of one of my all-time favourite animals. This is a charismatic animal, but it's also one that is tough as nails. It'll sit out in a field like the one behind me all year round, whether that's baking heat, torrential rain or blizzards, it'll just sit there and take it. It has a long association with people. Depending on which myth you follow, it can either be a witch's familiar, it can be an intercessor between humans and the gods, it can be a bringer of great misfortune or a bringer of great luck. This is Steve Dealey for Wild Walks, looking for Britain's brown hares. Britain has three species of hare. There is the mountain hare, which lives at high altitudes in the peaks of Scotland and the Peak District. But of our two lowland hares, one of them is restricted to Ireland and a very small colony on the west coast of the Isle of Mull in Scotland, which is the Irish hare. But today I'm in search of the most common species that you're likely to see. This is the brown hare, or the European hare.
This is the view that you're most likely to get of a hare. When they see humans, hares will typically flatten down and pretend to be a rock or a lump of mud, relying on their excellent camouflage. I often see them in fields where a farmer has been muck spreading, and the pellets of dung and straw look exactly like hares. Those same fields often have young crops that hares love, so they're a good place to start looking for them. Take a look at any pale brown lump in a field, and if you're lucky, it may sprout those telltale long ears with the black tips. If the camouflage fails, hares rely on a superpower. They're Britain's fastest land animal and can reach a blistering top speed of 35 miles an hour. They can also stop quickly and turn on a sixpence, as some of my attempts to follow them with the camera show. Sadly, this ability, developed to avoid predators, is what makes them popular for the barbaric sport of hare coursing, where lurcher-type dogs are set on a hare to see if it can escape, with wagers laid on the outcome. Although completely illegal, hare coursing continues, and the people involved are often linked to serious and violent crime. So if you ever see or suspect hare coursing is taking place, ring 999 and take any vehicle details, but do not approach the people involved.
So we can't talk about hares without talking about mad March hares. March is the start of the breeding season, and what you may well see in a field like this one are hares rushing around, hares jumping over each other. You may even see hares boxing, something I've seen but never been able to film. And these are all the female testing the male, making sure that they are fit to mate with her. So a female may well set off on a mile-long loop around a field like this at speed, seeing which of the males that are trying to chase her can keep up. You may sometimes see a male hare racing around a field with its tongue out, and what it's doing is it's using its tongue to follow a scent trail that the female has left behind. If you see hares boxing, that's normally a female who isn't receptive, pushing away the advances of an unwanted male. Unlike any other game species in England and Wales, there's no closed season for hares. Which means, as Michael McCarthy of The Independent memorably put it, you can shoot them all year round. You can shoot the does when they're pregnant. You can shoot the does when they're nursing the leverets, the young hares, such that the leverets starve to death. In Scotland, there is a closed season. In England and Wales, there was a private members bill in 2022 that tried to create a closed season, but that was then withdrawn. And so our hares have to put up not just with illegal coursing, but perfectly legal shooting. But that's not the only problem that hares have to deal with. Myxomatosis, that dreadful disease of rabbits that was wiping out most of Britain's rabbit population in the 1950s, has now made the jump to hares, and there are some parts of the country where hares have been found that have died from a variant of the myxomatosis disease. It's a bit like the COVID-19 variant affecting different groups of people. There are no signs at the moment that that disease is spreading into the wider population. It seems to be in just various pockets around the country at the moment, but it's still a significant risk. And if anything, this should help bring the argument forwards for having a closed season for hares, because the populations of hares can disappear very quickly indeed, and there are indeed now areas of Britain where you'll be very lucky indeed to see a hare. I'm really fortunate that I live in Wiltshire, which has one of the highest hare populations in the country.
Hares learn early on that life is tough. Does can have 3 to 4 litters a year, each of 2 to 3 leverets. She needs to, because as few as 30% of leverets survive to maturity. Unlike rabbit kittens, who are born in the safety of an underground burrow, leverets are born into danger, above ground, in the long grass at the edge of a field. They're born fully furred, with their eyes open, and carry no scent at all to make it harder for predators to find them. Even so, to ensure that she does not lead a fox or other predator to them, for the 4 weeks until they're weaned, the doe will leave her leverets completely alone, returning to them for no more than 10 minutes a day, usually at sunset, to feed them.
Doe hares have another superpower, and that is that they can be mated whilst they're still pregnant. And that means that the female can be carrying 2 leverets of different ages inside her at the same time, and that's a skill that is unique in the whole of the animal kingdom, and I have no idea why that provides them with a benefit, but it seems to.
So the next time you're out in the countryside, keep an eye open for those brown lumps in the fields, and if you're lucky, you may get to spend some time in the company of these wonderful and charismatic animals.
Well, I've come to the end of my day now. I've seen about 9 brown hares, which, although it's a very big area, is really quite a good number to see on a day out. This is Steve Dealey for Wild Walks. Thanks for watching.